Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 198 of Sold with Updike Pew.
I'm Jeff
I'm
Updike.
Weston Pugh, and today we've got an amazing home in Winnetka Heights that is a great Craftsman that you are going to love and is really remodeled.
And in our second segment today, we're going to talk about understanding the economic cycle of housing and pricing and mortgage interest rates and things like that.
And it is so important because I feel like that is the conversation that people have over and over right now. And I feel like there's too much of the national that's being applied, and it really doesn't work locally.
It really doesn't. I mean, we had a house over the weekend that one of our clients wanted to see, and brand new listing, and we kind of put it off, and we were going to go this week and look at it. Went under contract right away.
Yep, and I think in the Market Watch, we've also got some surprising days on market that you'll want to tune in and hear. So how was your weekend, Jeff? I think you had quite a busy one.
I did have a busy weekend. I officiated my first wedding this weekend.
Did you really?
Yep. Two really good friends, Morgan and Tim. They're not in this picture, but that's Kavita on the left, Megan in the middle, Corey on the right. There were, oh my gosh, 100 and something people there, and I wore a tie.
Oh my goodness. And Kavita's actually been on the show and has actually helped host when I was gone one time.
She was. They had their wedding at this venue in Waxahachie, and we rented the big Airbnb house. These are three of the bridesmaids jumping into the pool after the ceremony.
I think that's amazing. That sounds like
funny.
a great party. And they had alpaca?
They had alpacas there. They had three, actually. One of them, I guess, was misbehaving, and so he didn't get to come out. But these two were just so just calm and friendly, and it was so much fun.
Did they spit on you?
No, not at all.
I thought they spit.
I tell you, the really funny part about, so the wedding party finishes up and goes off to the side, and all the guests head off to have cocktails and everything, and they had we named it a bonky.
What does that mean?
It is a donkey with saddlebags that brought beer to the wedding party.
Oh, that is a really cool thing.
A bonky.
We have a friend that is absolutely obsessed with donkeys, and if y'all have a picture, I need that so I can send it to him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really great.
So what did you do this weekend?
So I had a really great time in the studio. I've been collaborating with one of our friends who's a jeweler and asked me to make some pendants. So I spent this weekend and made just shy of 250 pendants. This is them drying right there, and they'll also. I spent 2 hours yesterday sanding them and trying to get them ready to actually be fired. So
Beautiful colors.
it's really interesting, and it's funny because those colors are actually not the colors that they will end up being. So they'll get much deeper in tone.
When you fire them?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
It's very interesting. It is. They're probably truer to their color when they're wet than they are dry. I don't know how firing changes them back into that brilliant. So we'll see.
So those were made with slip.
They're made with porcelain.
Porcelain, and then if you fire them one time, they're called greenware at that point.
Yes.
And then that's when you can glaze them and fire them a second time.
Well, actually, they're called greenwood before they're fired, bisque when they're fired, and then they're finished and ceramics. But I'm going to skip and go straight to the final because there's no glaze. And he's going to set them in gold to be gorgeous.
Wow.
So I'll keep you posted on what
Okay.
they look like. So jumping into that market watch.
Jumping
Let's
into that
talk
market
about
watch.
What's happening right now in the market?
It's the market is shifting. It is shifting down from going 170 miles an hour to 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
So
that's true, especially in our neighborhoods.
And these, you see the change in the numbers, especially in, well, there's two things going on here, and one is the seasonal change that occurs naturally in the market,
Right.
and the cooling of the market because the Feds raised the short-term interest rates.
Right. And so you see right here, coming soon is a field that is not required, but it's a way to signal to other agents that you've got something coming on the market. And again, as Jeff was saying, there is that retraction right now. And so we saw that down 17% versus last week. So there were 64. And then new listings that came on the market, that's also down 5%, down to 435. And then once a contract is agreed upon and both sides are happy, it goes into the option period. And this option period is down 2%. Which is to 310.
And the pendings are down about 26% with 116. Closed properties was up 41% in Dallas County last week to 455 closings. And then the 30-year average conforming fixed rate being offered right now by 30% of the mortgage companies out there is about 6.7%. And we did see, we heard from one of our lenders that last week they saw a softening in the interest rates a little bit toward the end of the week, but then this looks like they've come back up just a smidge.
And one of the interesting notes inside of the market is that those in the closed category, that the median days on market was 17 and the average was 32. And that discrepancy is because there was a home that was on the market for 645 days. Everyone needs to take into consideration that a lot of times new construction gets brought in at the point of foundation sometimes, which can really drag that out. Also interesting to note is that the sold percentage to sales price versus list price was 99.17 in the median. So that really says that prices still are, when they're priced right, hitting almost 100% of what they brought on the market.
Yep. And the saying that we've heard so many times this year is, you marry the house and you date the interest rate.
It is so true. It is so true. So that's a lot of information. And one of the great things that we can do with this market analysis is that we can actually do it for any area that you're interested in. So if it's a zip code, if it is a school district, if it is a high rise, let us know. We can put those portals together, and that way you receive timely data as it comes on the market. Because again, in this market of 100 miles an hour, you really need to know the day that it comes on the market.
Absolutely.
So let's take a look at this very first house, this amazing house that we have. And this is going to be 404 South Clinton, and this is a great area of Dallas.
It really is. It's in Winnetka Heights, which is one of the historic districts here. Winnetka Heights is a set of streets of predominantly Craftsman style homes. Craftsman styles were, built 1920 to 1929 basically, and it's situated, I think, right in the heart of Oak Cliff. This is right off of I-35. This is very easy access to I-30. Hampton, you'll see just to the west, it's that first major street to the west of that, actually turns into Inwood Road when it crosses the Trinity River. And so you've got all that access within just a few miles to all of the hospital district, to all of downtown, Victory Park. It's a super convenient area.
And one of the great things that Dallas has done is in the reconfiguration of the west side of downtown, they have created the Calatrava Bridge, then gone one step further and created additional on-ramps to that, which make it a lot easier and take away so much of that congestion that we were really known for on that side of Dallas. The Calatrava is a really wonderful bridge. We actually flew it, and we'll show you some pictures or some drone video last week. It's such a great area of Dallas, and as Jeff was saying, not only is the Southwest hospital district there, but so is Love Field, which is just a little further north. And so commuting, whether it's by air or by travel and car, quite easy.
It is. And did you know that you can get on the TRE at Victory Station and ride that to Fort Worth, and it connects to the Amtrak?
I did, because I have done that one time when I went to the art festival in April in Fort Worth. Now, that's not always the best thing to do, because when you buy art, you also have to take that back. And that's not the best way to travel with art. So word to the wise, maybe take a car.
Well, really close by is also the Bishop Arts District. And this is another really cool little district of little shops. Dallas's most independent neighborhoods, a very good description for that. Lots of restaurants, lots of card shops. There has been so much development happen right around it.
And one of the great things that's also happening is going to be the Kevin W. Sloan Park. And it is the deck park that will be over there by the zoo. And I believe this is about 12 to 7 minutes away from the Winnetka district. One of the great things about this park, like Clyde Warren, is that it covers the deck and takes advantage of space that was not realized before. And this one actually is really going to play into some topography elements. It will also have an amphitheater, and it has a large complex for restaurants.
It's an $82 million park that is put together with both private funds and public funds. The Texas Department of Transportation is the one that is actually building all of they're doing all of the highway work. They will build the decks for the park, and then that's where the public-private partnership that owns the park takes over and does the phase one.
And in that picture right there, you can see that there's the 60-foot giraffe on the right hand of that video. What a great area. I cannot wait for this to open. And it will be another great element for the Dallas area.
Yep, that will be, and that park will be open. The first phase of the park will be open in 2024.
That's awesome. Also in this area is the Tin District, and the Tin District is an amazing art area. As you see there, Dan Lamb, she is the artist there on the right-hand side. Wonderful artist. She is in many galleries across the United States, including Basel. She's also been in the Hamptons and several galleries in New York. You'll also note some of the big mural painters that are in and around Oak Cliff are also here. Ricardo Paniagua is another artist that's over here. So one area that I feel like Dallas has that is coming up, and it's all because of this little area in the cliff.
It's really such a cool part of the town, I think.
It is great. And so what we also want to do is kind of point out what's in and around this area. We've got some graphics to show you that show that this is a very convenient to quite a lot of items in your life that would make it easier, whether it's coffee, groceries, prescriptions, and gas. You can see everything is really close.
Yeah, most of it's within a third of a mile.
And the great outdoors is really interesting that within 10 miles you have 16 golf courses. I don't play enough golf to care about that. Parks will be +1 very soon. Dog parks +6. And hiking. Lots of hiking in that area.
Lots of hiking. And then neighborhood eats. There are 183 restaurants within 5 miles, and 140 of those are moderately priced and have an above average variety of cuisine.
I love it.
Love it
really,
too.
And it's Bishop Art District really came in and added such a volume to that.
I remember 25, 30 years ago when everybody was like, oh, you live in Oak Cliff. Oh, you live in Oak Cliff. And then the Cliffies were the ones that were saying, no, it's such a great part of town. You got to come and see it. And now everybody's come to see it.
It's so funny because if I get clients that want to live in an area similar to Austin, this is where we take them.
It is, yeah.
It is. If they even vaguely reference Austin, then this is typically what they're drawn to, and we can find something, whether it's new construction, a renovation project, or something that's completely done, like 404 South Clinton Avenue. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. It's 1,544 square feet. Comes in at $650,000.
Great little Craftsman home. Has a lot of the features of that traditional Craftsman. You can see the bungalow, the bungalow thing up on top. Dormer. Big windows, big front porch. Has the walkways, the concrete walkways up to the front porch. I would venture to say that is probably the original front porch.
I love the front porch, and I love the way that they've given it multiple seating areas plus a swing. This is one of those neighborhoods, when we previewed this home, neighbors were out on the porch. And it is a great neighborhood vibe here. If you need that, the walk where you know people, this is one of those houses. And I think this shot right here kind of captures the entire emotion of the home. Double front doors that open into a really great and welcoming home.
Really is. And this has 9-foot ceilings in it, which was a really big surprise to me because many of them are 8 foot, but this has so much volume in it. And when you walk in, the hardwood floors just gleam. I believe that I would bet you that fireplace was updated at some point, but it's really great to have that as a good focal point.
And they have done renovations in the house, and so we'll kind of point out as we go along with these photos, you've got plantation shutters, and I believe the plantation shutters are pretty much throughout.
Pretty much, yeah.
This entire house. I love the fact that they had done can lights, and I thought, in so many of these houses, everything was just a lamp, as you see there, but they've gone through and added the can lights strategically where you need them in each one of the rooms, so it really just kind of begins to feel very refreshed.
It really does. And in that last picture, I think we'll get to see it again. They've got some really neat millwork that kind of separates the dining room from the living room.
Yeah.
Another just very common feature. There's a really good picture of it. That and the built-ins are a really common feature in the Craftsman style home.
I was really pleased with the renovation and the millwork because I felt like it actually kept the period in mind rather than try to be sharp and clean like a modern that you might see in another neighborhood. It kept with that because you can see that detailing on these columns right here, whether it's the ones in the middle or as you go further out to the edge, how it just has the right feel to it, the right height, it all the way worked. Now this was a dining room that I was really surprised because in this picture I didn't really feel like it was as big as it is. That is an enormous space where you could go with a bunch of different directions with that or shapes with the table, and you could easily see 12 in this area.
And the fixtures in this, I think, were selected beautifully. That is really a very timeless and appropriate chandelier for the dining room table. This kitchen has really great built-ins, quartz countertops. That tile backsplash was done very, very well.
I would not be surprised if that is Ann Sachs tile in the back, and it is, and I'm going to say it, trend on right now. And the other thing that I feel is trend on is both the brass that they're using sparingly, but also that window seat, the way that it's set right there with the drop-down pendant light. I feel like that all plays into a very usable kitchen right now.
And you know what is funny is that exact range was in our Airbnb this weekend.
Really?
So it was. I looked at it. I was like, I've seen this before, and I got to tell you, it worked like crazy. The guy that cooked dinner for us, breakfast for us, had all 4 burners going, and it was happening.
I love this. I also like the fact that they framed it with sheetrock around that vent instead of making it like a cabinet. I just like that cleaner, finished look that it provides. As you can see here, you've got undermount cabinet sink, farm sink. Again, I said brass was used sparingly, and this is kind of an homage to the older look that you would see. As you see here, we're going to pull all the way back, getting really close to that back door, and you see it as a nice galley kitchen. And what's great about that is it transitions into this amazing utility room.
Yeah, and it's huge. It's a real utility room, sink, cabinetry, lots of storage on the wall where the picture was taken from.
And pocket doors.
Yeah, and pocket doors, which I thought was
shocking.
Yeah, super, super great grab there.
First of 3 bedrooms. This one is going to be up in the front. One of the really interesting things that they did here, as we see in the next picture, is because of the way that they renovated that wall in the living room, it allowed them to create these built-ins. Also, I believe they made that closet a little bit larger. It's not quite a full walk-in, but it does provide you with a lot more storage because, again, in homes of this age, closet space is one of the biggest concerns that buyers have.
And this is the second bedroom, kind of the middle bedroom. Again, the gleaming wood floors, plantation shutters, big, wide open windows. There's so much light in these rooms, and again, that selection of the great lighting fixture.
They did a great job. And so, between these 2 bedrooms, you're going to have this bathroom. And the great thing about the bathroom is that they kept it in the same color. So in smaller spaces, keeping the tile color and shape similar is very helpful. And here, this shows the great tie-in between this master bedroom, a little outdoor cubby hole, and this transitions right into the master. And the master has tons and tons of light. It's very nicely sized. And again, we see can lights and plantation shutters that give you the creature comforts and ideas and elements that today's buyers really want.
And I really like that these homes many times have an extra access in that master bedroom. They just seem to make a lot of sense to me. If somebody's coming home late from work and doesn't want to disturb everybody else, you can get right in.
This also has a fully renovated master bathroom. This shower is a quick walk-in shower that I thought was extremely smart. I love that the fact that you don't have a ton of glass to clean. But what was really special is when we step outside and see how well the backyard really works with today's lifestyles.
Oh, I loved all that crushed granite. Fire pit area there. As you can see in the distance, you've got really great outdoor dining space. The patio canopy lights, patio lights, they just make so much sense here.
Yep, really well done. Fans as well to control the mosquitoes. And as Jeff was saying, multiple seating areas plus a little playground area. And one of the great things about this is that it had a previously income-producing suite that is also attached to the garage, but doesn't take away from the 2-car garage. This also has a gate in the backyard as well. So it's a really great positioning of this. One of the things, because of this crushed granite, it is a much more friendly to the environment backyard because it allows that the rain to actually penetrate deeper in, and so it adds much better drainage.
And this is the little 1-bedroom suite that is attached to the 2-car garage. It's been beautifully updated as well. A big bathroom, kitchenette. Is it a kitchenette area? Air conditioning. That's what I was thinking about. Heat and air conditioning separate in this. The day we went there, it was like incredibly comfortable in there.
So this is a great little space. It's also got a little, again, step-in shower, sink, toilet, a little closet as well. So everything in here that you would need, whether it's for an extended stay or whatever else you would like to do for friends and family, it works out quite great. And this aerial view right here, one of the things we want to point out is that the roof was also replaced in 2016. And as you can see here, this is a house that is surrounded by other houses of similar. So it's not like you're crammed into a McMansion park.
So this is 404 South Clinton Avenue. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, built in 1929. It's about 1,544 square feet and it's priced at $650,000, which is $420.98 a square foot.
And we'd like to say thank you to Emily Ruth Cannon for allowing us to feature your home. It is a wonderful home. If this is something you would like to see, just click on the link in the comments below and it'll take you to it. Share it with your friends and your family. Scroll through the pictures and zoom in, zoom out on that map. And if it's something that you'd like to see, let us know and we'd be happy to make that happen.
Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pew, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you missed the show because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. It's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the second segment, episode 198 of Sold with Updike Pew. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh.
And today we're going to talk about understanding the economic market cycle and kind of what we're seeing happen right now and what we think we'll be seeing over the next 12 to 18 months.
And I think that we got the idea because our CEO, Chris Kelly, provides a real estate roadmap, and he gave us some really great information that we thought we're going to try to explain it as well as he did, so bear with us, but it has a lot of great information in it. And I think that it is one of the elements that we get asked all the time. I know I was at a birthday party this weekend and everybody was asking what's happening with rates.
Everybody this weekend asked me, so what's going on with the market?
What's going on with the market? Mm-hmm. And again, like we were talking about in the first half of the show, we were talking about these giant brush strokes that people use to discuss real estate, or when they come at it from a national average. Mm-hmm. If they're not talking about rates that are conforming, or if they're not talking about surveys, a lot of it doesn't apply. It is very specific to a zip code, a neighborhood, and a left or right side of the street.
Yeah, I agree. One of the things that was interesting was when are we going to show that slide? The slide of the economic later on. Okay, the economic slowdown that we're seeing right now is, I think it was kind of started by the pandemic,
yep.
But it kind of exacerbated because I feel like the pandemic, while it probably should have slowed the economy, really kind of sped things up.
Well, it scared everybody to death, and so the government was trying to figure out how to make sure that it didn't come to a screeching halt, and so they can either do a monetary lever or they can do a fiscal lever. And so by pulling on that fiscal lever, Congress and presidents were able to take and actually provide the economy and Americans with a lot of money.
Yeah, and they basically printed $1 trillion.
So whether it was a PPE loan or if it was you getting a check because you're staying at home and you can't go to work.
Economic stimulus checks, yeah.
This was just money that was coming into it. And on top of that, to make sure that everything was okay, rates got lowered.
Again, we thought they'd never go lower than they were in 2020 and then or 2019.
And so you get this giant, you've got free money and you've got low interest rates, and what does that do to demand? Everything shoots up. And so we saw this real mad dash in the last 18 months to buy real estate. I mean, whether people were buying the second home, I mean, we saw so many lake houses just going for astronomical prices, or people just trying to upgrade or just buy their first home. It was a huge push. It was like trying to eat an elephant in one bite.
Yeah, huge log jam.
And then what kind of made it worse And we really saw this in new home construction, was the fact that the supply chain was so disrupted.
It was and the cost of lumber just from the demand itself was going up so quickly. And then when that supply chain issue came in, builders were unable to get windows. They were unable to get cabinetry. They were unable to get flooring. A lot of that is produced in other countries and needs to be shipped in.
Yep.
Other countries shut down because of the pandemic. There weren't people to load the trucks or load the ships. There weren't people to unload it when it got here.
I mean, how many did you see the 60 Minutes segment where they were talking about the ports and how they couldn't get stuff on, and Biden was saying he's paying extra to everybody to get everything in and out. And then what couldn't get out got more expensive because it was out on the ships.
Yeah.
So we had this giant swirl, and that's when the inflation kicked in. So that's when everything shifted, and the other lever got pulled, and that's the fiscal one. Did I say that right? Fiscal. Right? Yep. So.
And that's when the Fed really begins increasing the overnight rate that the banks charge each other for, or the Federal Reserve charges for money. And that while that does not directly affect mortgage